Good morning, everybody. Welcome to this in the morning. 15 minutes to change our lives. Good to Sichus. Pashas Chayei Chelek Aleph. I'm going to finish off the Sicha today, or the Vayla Sicha. The actual whole Sicha is actually a few pages. It's quite long. Well, yeah. Okay. So basically, we're going to finish off today and bring it down. So basically, we had this whole discussion in the story of the Shiur of Yitzchak and Rivkah. It says Eliezer, when he comes to Lavan and Besuel, he comes and he says, Hayom Chayei and Basi. Rashi explains that it means that he had fits the derech. So we ask him, what's the part of fits the derech? Why did he take a 17-day journey to go so quickly? And so there's the simple pshat, as the Rebbe says, like the practical, simple, but then there's the Chassidish teach. And you can see here a simple example. Chassidus first was the neshama, such a deep part, and it applies. You can extrapolate this for so many places in your life, and also how rich it is. So the simple reason is, the simple pshat is because he's writing a ksuva, a star of the Sachav, that he's giving over everything that he owns. That Avraham wanted to make the shidduch happen, and he said, yeah, everything comes to Yitzchak, so that you know you're marrying a guy with wealth. You're marrying a guy that can take care of you. But the shayla is, when do you write it? The best way to write it is in the actual day, same day. But if you have to write it on the same day, right? Write it 17 days later, it's not as good. So the pashtus fits the derech, and you solve this issue. But as you can see, well, it seems the most exciting part. But the Chassidish teach is a lot deeper. So what's the part? Who was Rivkah? Rivkah, like it says in the Medrash of Shiur, Rivkah was like a Shoshana ben Chachayim. She was like a Shoshana, a rose amongst thorn bushes. And so we learned so much from this. The Rebbe brought out so much. First of all, very interestingly, that the Shoshana Dafka grows on thorn bushes. That it's specifically in the thorn bush where it grows. The thorn bush is not a good thing, and it's hard to get to. But that's where it helps it grow. It needs the thorn bush to help it grow. And which is simply a lesson in our lives that the struggle in life will help us grow. And I was by the Kiddush yesterday, and one of my favorite people that I hear speak, the guy that has a lot of struggles, not like more so internal, not like cutaneous, Baruch Hashem, I think everyone's helping stuff, just like, internal struggles. But you can see that those struggles have really brought out the best in him. And really like he's very real, very honest. And you can see he's he really pushed himself. And this is sort of, this is where I'm like, I look at this Shoshana, that being in the thorn bushes is not fun, not enjoyable, but you have to appreciate the value that it brings to us. That's sort of what we're saying. But once you're grown, once the Shoshana is grown, once the rose is good to go, let's get it out of them. You don't want to be in there. And this is what happened. The Avram senses Rivkah is 3 days. It is old. So he's like, I feel she's ready. She's on a technical sense, she's able to get married. Let's get out of that situation. And so that's why Eliezer, when he comes, he says, Hayom Chayei and Basi, I came, I fits the derech, we're going to get out of them. Because he knows that they're going to make a shlepa longer. Why should she schlep longer? And like they say, let us stay for a year. And ultimately, so they ask, and she says, no, I want to get out of here. But the realization is hey, even though life sometimes have the struggles, and we have to realize that this is part of life, and this is what to learn from it. But together with that, we can get out of it. We don't want to be in there. This is what happens. And so Eliezer is trying to take her out. Now, so what does this mean? There's a lot of lessons to be learned, but as we're talking about this two pshat, and this is the second pshat, the Chassidish teich, what does it mean? It's the neshama. So what does it mean for us? You can learn from this only for everything. Let's see. Yeah. Exactly. Zayin. It's Zayin. Last. Ahira Hagaluya Hanilmedes Misipateri Zed Lanu the Darius here. The Rebbe says the revealed, so to speak, the obvious lesson for us is like this. Ma'aseh obviously the stories of our forefathers are a sign for us. That's what it says in Ramban. Kashem shekadei Rivkah loiti sharva veisla besuel regam yuser, in order that just like by Rivkah, she shouldn't be in the house of besuel, in the thorns for one more moment. That's why we're going to go. I had to fix the derech, but now you're able to get out of here. Let's get you out of there. Regam yuser veisla fix the derech, and had this fix the derech. Kach hadavar simin labonim. So too, this is a lesson for us. Ein lehis ya'ish b'lipo b'ruach machmas chosh agolus. So we come and we say to ourselves, when golus, life is tough, and I'm tired of this golus, and I don't want to have it anymore, and it's annoying, and then after all the struggles of life. So just like this story, we can learn the same thing for us, that issue doesn't exist anymore. Mishum shakadosh baruch hu yemaher es hagula kedei loy lihishar regam yusuf begolus. You know what? It's just like Eliezer jumped at good to take Rivkah out. So too with golus and Gula, Hashem is not going to make us stay in golus 1 minute more than we need to, and it'll take us out immediately. Mitzrayim here sherish kol hagolus. Now Mitzrayim, this is sort of a little bit aside. It's the same idea, just bring it down in Mitzrayim. When the Yidden went down to Mitzrayim a few years later from this parasha, it's the source of all the goals. That's Mayim Yatsu, just like in Golos Mitzrayim. It says about it that on that day we left, and Kamai Merchilta and Mechilta explains, Hashem didn't make us wait like a hair's breadth more than what we needed to. Meaning immediately when we're able to go, he's taking us out. We're not waiting a day, even if we need to fix the derech. So too, with life, the days Mitzrayim will show you miracles like when the Mashiach comes. But Gula HaNechach in this Gula coming very soon. Yishrak lahashlim es hapach maktanim. This is something we have left to do is to complete the small jogs, the last little things. Yushlumu Eila, when we fix these, we finish these. Tia behavior meinu hagula hashlema aydem Mashiach tkenu. Mashiach will come immediately and take us out of Golus. What we're saying is a lesson from this story we can learn for us in our lives is that just like Rivkah didn't stay any longer in Golus more than she needed to, and those fits the derech, the whole process that had to happen miraculously just to make sure she wouldn't have to be there for longer than she needed to. So too with us, that don't think they're in Golus and it's not meant to be this, and it's not meant to be this way. Now, of course, we should ask for Gula. That's what they told us, and we have to realize that that's we have to want. But we have to realize that on the positive side, that we're not going to be here any longer than what's required. And when it's time, we're out of here. And that's the lesson. That's the lesson I've saying we can learn from this. I think it's a very important lesson in our lives. Meaning the lesson you can take from this on a like thinking about this. And everyone should take this idea and think about it and process it and really internalize it. But simply, what's happening in our lives is not happening because it just stopped happening. Hashem's here with us every single moment. And if he didn't want it to happen, it won't happen. I'm not saying that we should love everything. Life's tough when you have your challenges, and a challenge is a challenge. But if we realize Hashem is with us, and Hashem will take us out of that challenge immediately, that will help us get out of there as quickly as possible. So, mitzvah Hashem by all of us, we should get out of Golus, the Golus HaKlolus, our own Golus, and we should connect. And like we learned in this Sikh before, about connecting with the Avos Hashem and Yiras Hashem, and we should have a geschmack in learning Torah and in feeling our Yiddishkeit, and should be meaningful. We should have this, and that should help us get out of this Golus, and get to the Gula. Everyone have an amazing Shabbos.